Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Random Gamer Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming, and this video is going to be a look at the new release of Cannon Dancer, or known as Osmond in the West. It's actually an arcade collection of both versions of the arcade game, and I'm going to be doing a playthrough on both versions. But for the first version, the Japanese Cannon Dancer, I will be commentating over. For Osmond, the second playthrough, I will not be commentating on it at all. Now, this Cannon Dancer playthrough will be done with no power-ups or extras engaged, so there are a couple of enhanced features, they're all turned off. And just before I say anything more, I need to say thank you to ININ Games and PR Hound for providing us with a copy in order to take a look at and cover the game. So this is Cannon Dancer, and as you can see from that intro, that is almost certainly based on the actor Jack Nicholson. The sort of hit character Jack Lazen, I believe he is named. But here you go with the start. Now, the Japanese version doesn't have the tutorial, but the first thing you need to know is there are two moves not listed in the English version tutorial. The roll throw, which is when you do a roll, if you press jump, you will throw enemies like so. And there's also one if you jump up in the air and hold down and jump. At the height of the jump, you can suplex enemies as well. Those moves are well known in order for you to get all the achievements and trophies, and they are very helpful for taking out groups of enemies, although they're much better early on than later on. So this game, you really do need to learn the routes, and the other thing is you need to keep the power-ups as much as possible. So the first probably nasty bit coming up, just that bit there with the golden statues. Basically, you've got to get in there quick, and you really want max power-ups. Avoiding damage at all costs is what you need to do. Every time you take a hit, you lose a power-up stage in this one. This boss is fairly easy. Stay to the far right and just keep fly kicking it. Remember, as you gain power-ups, you leave shadows, so you want to leave the shadows, and the shadows will remain initially for a few seconds after you kick. So you can literally kick even when you're away from them. The shadows will copy you and you'll be able to dish out damage. Do watch those three circling or the enemies there, they do spawn at the same places, so jump up there, grab that power up, and you want full strength. The other one's also green, so red is a strength power up, green's a health power up, yellow increases your life bar, and blue restores all your life bar, but I only think there's one blue one. So just follow that technique there for those two bosses. That's quite easy. We get another boss straight after. This is probably quite a tricky boss. First thing to do, take out the blade saw there, then literally kick at it and then keep kicking so your shadows attack it. As soon as you see the flames, jump away with this boss, else otherwise you will get hit. So as soon as the flames pop out, leave your shadows behind and just jump as soon as you see the flames and aim for the chest to take it out. It's fairly straightforward when you know what you're doing. The aim at all times of this game really is to keep the super up as much as possible. Your ultimate super state, where you have the sort of wind kicks, only remains for a few seconds, so you have to keep getting the red one, else you'll revert back to the white, as you see here, and then I go back to it by grabbing another power up. But do remember that when you take a hit, you then revert back, and every time you take a hit, you lose the shadows. Now watch those fireballs coming back from behind you, but literally, if you're full power, just literally follow that technique. Now, one of the hardest enemies to suplex is the tiger coming up, because you have to literally suplex it mid-jump. Suplexes have to be done at the sort of peak of the jump, which you can't get on the tigers at default because you're too low in the animation. This bit, you're going to be chased by the truck. Hold down and get ready to jump. Incidentally, at the end of this jump, you'll notice there's the 4 there, that counts down. At the end of this jump is literally the only blue health power-up I can find, so there's the blue one, although I missed it, although not that I needed it. This bit's a straight. Keep running at this point. The blocks are falling apart all the time behind you. And if you're savvy enough, this will be your first and only health power up here. Interesting point to note, there is a bit of a mess up in this version. You cannot access the dip switches. So you can't access and change the difficulty or change the number of lives or your starting health power-ups. They are all there though. So this boss, you ideally want to stay on the platforms, as there's 2 revolving hands that start dishing out damage. This boss is fairly easy. You can actually suplex him, but you have to suplex the upper half of his body in order to actually get him. When he goes into flame form, that's the perfect time to have him kicked by the shadow kicks. Once you'll initially have one hand. As he's close to death, a second hand will spawn. Now, this is done on normal mode without any power-ups, as I was mentioning. The second mode, I'll be doing the challenge mode with 2 of the upgrades so that I can get all the trophies and achievements, but you'll see I actually beat the game within the criteria. Now, this is by far one of the toughest boss fights in the game. If you don't have full power, you will take an absolute damage here. I made the mistake of getting a little bit too close at this fight and just got absolutely rained on. So this was not a good fight this time around. You really need that full power up. Yeah, I should have used a super at this point. But this boss is a real pain to deal with. Just keep hitting him, just keep kicking him. Stay back and time it so you dodge the worm things coming up. This bit here, clearly they knew that boss fight was rather tricky, as this bit here has about 3 health power-ups in a row. So you've got one up there, again dodge the worms. You can suplex the scorpions as well, and you'll need to for one of the trophies/achievements. And there's also a second, if you jump over here, another health power-up. This is not a great run this section by me, this bit, but it's fairly straightforward. I do a lot better in the challenge mode run, although I make a bit of a disaster. There's 2 bits that are quite funny and you'll probably quite like them. I lost 2 lives due to silly mistakes. Also, I literally got to the final boss on only 1 life. Now, this bit you've got to really take your time with the jumping sword. I kind of rushed this bit, but follow the path I'm going and you should be good. Just wait for them to go. You can get in between those 2 so you can't be damaged by it while you kick out all the cans. But do keep an eye on the clock as well, as you do have only 2 minutes. The clock does renew at set points. Jump up there, jump across here, then jump up, and there is actually an extra power up. I took a bad hit there because I waited too long, and those platforms above you do collapse. There are a couple, you can go up either the top or the above routes. I don't know what they do. They may change which boss order you fight in, as the bosses do change which of the 3 bosses you fight in. So these 3 bosses here are random which of the 3, unless there is a way to get the order. But this is canon. You need to dodge the robot. There are 3 parts to the robot. The legs, you have to go for the centre. The head, you need to move away from your position, and the arms will come at you diagonally. He's actually quite the most annoying and slowest boss to kill, because you only have a limited attack window and you can only dispense so much damage. You really need to reserve your supers for when you utmost need them in a single play run, as you only get, because you've only got 3 supers and they only allow you to gain 1 extra life. There are 2 extends, but one of them is not selectable in this. You can only get 1. It's basically the 100... It's the 1,000,000 point mark, you get 1 extra life. So that means you get 9 supers across the board. If you lose a life without using your supers, you lose the supers. The start of this stage is probably one of the toughest bits in the game, actually. You get a lot of enemies come at you. There is a health power up to the right at the start, but you really want to get up quickly and fastly to deal with the enemies. There is also a Helios power up, the attack enemy, and that one there you see there, you really want to get the shadows out. So if you don't have the shadows, that can be slightly annoying. Do watch it, you can also start fire there, they'll start burning up. But basically jump up there, take those guys out as they shoot you as well quickly to get rid of them. You can also get the 3-second dive at that point if you grab one and take him all the way off the top of that ledge and take him to the left. Make sure to get that health power up every time I make a bit of a blunder there. Take a hit. Now this bit, jump high initially, you're going to get lots of the flying guys, and you really want to try and avoid taking as much damage as possible in this section. It's quite hard to actually avoid all the robots. You really need to know their exact positions, and I didn't have the full power up at this point. Yeah, if you die you lose all your power-ups as well. Basically those robots will shoot in a line and the enemies will just fly around and shoot you quickly. You do need to suplex the flying guys. They have to be suplexed in the upper half, but basically at that point you just want to kill them in that wave section, the water section, kill the enemies as quickly as they spawn so they don't get a chance to shoot you. Yeah, if you watch this part in the other playthrough, this is where I make a very silly mistake. All I'll say is don't take too long to read the text. Interestingly, there's a lot more text in the English version. Whereas the Japanese one, the text is actually finished, whereas here we actually get a lot more text in the English one. So this is Wilfer. He's probably one of the easier of the 3. I'd say Canon's probably the most annoying. But yeah, I went the wrong way and got hit by his flying skateboard, I suppose, or hoverboard. Basically, he's a bit like Wolverine. He jumps around largely. You can just follow him, So you can literally just largely just goad him to where he goes and hit him. When he lands, that's when he'll start doing like a Wolverine style hack, as you see there. But largely, if you stay up the top, if you get Wilfred at this point, quite often I seem to have Cannon at this point. But if you get Wilfred at that point, just follow him around. Basically wait till he lands the board and then hit him. Especially if he'll start attacking, you can hit him from behind or below. So this bit really needs practicing. You have to follow a very specific route if you want to avoid taking any damage. You need to take out those guys quickly as well. That wasn't quick enough, you sort of got shot there. They do spawn all over the place, just go for them very quickly. You do need to work out the position of all these gems to throw you up and around as well. If you fall down to the bottom, you have tigers and a rather big serpent creature to deal with constantly. So it's better to take the top route. When you get these whipping runs around the gems, just go straight for the gems. Especially if there's a bigger gem and that will put you into the tunnel sort of round jumping twirl. Just go straight for the enemies and jump to the exit crystals just to be thrown out. Yeah, stay a little bit back at this thing. If you go the top route, you'll only have to fight one of them, Mizuki, but basically stay back so that way it can't snap. You can basically, its head will go a certain length. I got too close. But yeah, this is one tough game without any power-ups on. The enhancements were clearly designed to help players, and the enhancements actually make it fairly easy, especially the invulnerable attack one. Okay, so this is Tiana, the last boss. Now, you can actually pick your stage here. I prefer the first one, which is... This will pick you one of the 3 bosses you refight. So you'll either get the stage you fought in the desert, the water, or the stage you fought Helios on, depending which one you pick. I find this one the easiest one. This one has 2 power-ups. I think the other one will probably actually have more power-ups, depending which one you pick, depends which power-ups and items you get. So in theory, although this is an easy one, I think the other one may have health power-ups, the water one, because it does by default have water. The health one has 2 heal power-ups, so that might be a better one to go if you're close to death at this point. Basically, use your shadows to hit her and keep away from her. That's my best advice for her. So basically have your shadows hit her, keep away. She will try and go for you to throw you, so use your shadows to kick her and she won't be able to throw you. But yeah, if they don't, she will get to you and throw you. Stay away if she stands still, because then she'll do kicks. She'll also try and do a flame explosion. Yeah, there's the kick attack. Interestingly, one of the dip switches you can't access is the ability to turn off the gore in the arcade. Shall we defeat her? Now, this bit coming up before the boss, this bit is very, very tricky. Incidentally, if you want to actually beat the boss at the next section, you really do need to have white full attacking power, so the white trousers. Because the trousers go from blue, purple, red and white. Black is the ultimate state, but the ultimate state's only temporary. You really do need max shadow, so follow the route I'm doing here to make sure you don't take any damage. If you go any other way, although I did slightly take a hit there, I slightly didn't get in quick enough on the other enemy and I over jumped on the second one of those turrets. If you do any other way, you're going to take a lot of damage at this section. Basically jump up top here and go just underneath, so that way you grab the platform without getting hit. Yeah, I should have been a little further down. I jumped up too hard there and took a hit. I do a perfect run in the later in the second playthrough coming up. Right, the second playthrough coming up, I just basically lost 2 really silly lives. You'll see what I mean by that. Else otherwise I'd literally got to the last 3 on 1 credit, which slightly aggravated me. Right, follow exactly what I do here. You need to jump up when those 2 go, up and around. Then wait for that one to stop shooting, jump over, kill this one, kill that one, and climb up and around if you want to avoid taking damage. And jump up, and then drop down and make sure you kill the guy shooting below. That will give you the white power up. Now, ideally you really need the black super attack here. This boss is just an exercise in trying to avoid taking damage, because he just takes so much damage. The way he works, you're just going to take hits, you just need to avoid taking as many as possible. Basically jump in. If you've got the super power up, you can take him out really quickly, but you'll almost certainly use a super there to avoid taking any damage. And don't fall off the edge. You can run off the edge there. I have done that rather embarrassingly a couple of times. Right, this stage is absolutely brutal. Every time you lose a life, you literally reset to various reset points. The first reset point is not until you get to Fake. Now, I did have taken out a few failed runs at this point. This first one, you really actually want to, as soon as it arrives, kick it to the left and you can get it. This second one and third one, you can really want to leave the shadows up to get them, but I didn't do that, so... Try and ignore those enemies to the left, they are quite irritating. So this is basically a boss-orama. You refight most of the bosses in the game, not all of them. Just say there, leave your shadows. Kicking away for Helios, or Hero. Okay, this one's a little bit more tricky. It's an angle to where it was before. Kick it carefully, take out that blade first again. I think my best advice when replaying Gamran is just to take your time and, if necessary, use one super on it, but try to keep at least one or two back. Okay, on to Fake. Now, this is possibly the hardest fight in the game if you don't have supers. You need to use the ghosts to really get at him. He is almost impossible to avoid taking damage at unless you literally can lure him into hitting your shadows. If you don't have shadows, you are in for a nightmarish time and you will have to resort to supers. He permanently stays in super hit as well, so you won't be in that state, which is what's the more aggravating. Had there been a super power up here, it might have been a bit more helpful, but there isn't one. Now you have to run this way as the whole platform's okay, here comes the Mornage Etoile. Get ready. You need to really concentrate. So Tiona and Wilf leave aside. Concentrate on taking out Ganon, because Tiona and Wilf you can kind of deal with. If you're going to try and super them, have at least 2 or 3 of them on screen at once. Ganon is the real problem here with the background robot. And the fact this fight comes straight after Fake is just really nightmarish. Incidentally, there are no super regen, so this is 5 straight boss fights back to back. The only break is basically there's a reset point after the first 2, so at Fake, at these guys, and at the final boss Slave. But yeah, basically I'd take out Ganon's first, if you can do, as he causes the most problem with that robot, because that hinders how you fight the other 2. There are 2 health power-ups up the top here, so do grab them, and there's 2 strength power-ups below. It might be an idea if you actually just use your supers initially to try and take out Ganon, because you're going to take damage until you deal with Ganon, and then the other 2 are a lot easier to take out. But basically, my advice is if you're trying to do this in one credit, aim to keep most of your supers for this fight, the Fake fight, and the Slaver fight. So here I actually do Wilfred a much better here, kicking and attacking him. Right, here we go. Just follow the jump pattern. So there's a couple of strength power-ups, but any you lose. Hence why it might be a good idea to actually leave them at the previous fight. That way you can grab them straight after you've beaten the 3 of them. And this is Slaver, the final boss. Or Abdullah. They call it Abdullah. Or some sort of goddess. Slaver. Right, this first phase isn't too bad, dodging the balls. Just watch her her shots. She'll basically fire single bullets at you, but basically avoid them. The second phase is the really tricky one where she literally fires a spinning sort of DNA attack that is an absolute nightmare to reserve. Ideally, yeah, so that one, use your supers when you get to the mid stage. Or if you have 3 supers, just do that and you can finish her off. But if you can do trying, if you've only got less supers, wait to the mid stage. She has 3 forms, and basically the middle form is by far the hardest one. The third one is just her buzzing around, shooting you with the standard shot and just firing that larger shield. So I try to attack her from below to avoid it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game using without any type of bonus cheats or anything, but it does make it a little bit tricky in places. But it is a very good title. I do wish the dip switches were accessible. That's my one aggravation, and hopefully that will be patched. I will be flagging that as well. But next up we have the Osman playthrough, and that will be done on the challenge mode to unlock the achievement. And basically you can take a maximum of 2 perks for that. And I did actually beat the game, and that was actually a run that would have been successful. The perks I take are Invincible Attack, which is very, very helpful, and 4 credits. So I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching this randomised gaming video. My name is Random Gamer Riven, the editor of Randomised Gaming, and I'd kindly ask, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider hitting the like button. And if you enjoy our channel content, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We have a whole host of high quality gameplay videos, long plays and playthrough videos. We also have consumer issues and some comparison issues covering various different versions of games, and topics like 50 and 60 Hz differences between PAL and NTSC versions of games. So if you want to see a channel with that type of gaming content, please do spend some time looking at our videos and playlists here at Randomised Gaming. And feel free to get involved in the discussion as well by leaving a comment, and myself or one of the team will try and get back to you as soon as possible. You can also check out our blog with lots of written features, images and reviews on it. And you can also find me live streaming on Twitch. All our legacy YouTube streams are available in a playlist, but going forward I will only be streaming on Twitch at present. Some videos will have affiliate links in the video description, and you can support us by buying us a tea or coffee via the website Ko-fi. Links to all our websites and channels are included in the YouTube video description. Thank you again for watching, viewer, and as always I wish you all a good night, a good evening, a good morning or a good afternoon wherever you are in the world.